He's got to start here on this map.
Head to head in cross spots here. Now over here in the upper left, in the red, changing the way we understand StarCraft. Give it up for SOS. The best Zerg from Brood War, here to be the best player in StarCraft 2. He is Jaedong.
And Artosis, I think we can all safely say, when protoss players are struggling, when protoss players are losing hope, SOS is the one to look to.
He truly is, Apollo. He's revolutionized really every matchup, at least once, in fact. It's crazy to think about. He doesn't quite get the love of Jaedong, but maybe if he can close the series out, he'll start to.
Man, Jaedong, does he need to just like completely change his play style here? I mean, does he need to just completely reinvent the way he's opening up?
Well, he's changed his opening in this game. He's decided to go spawn and pull first here. Is he maybe expecting that we could have seen that cannon rush happen?
Well, what this does is it gives SOS an advantage. It looks like he's going forge and main fast expand, and against a 14 pool on a map this size, it's like the best counter to it.
Well, the hatch goes down now, and it seems like SOS, as far as, I mean, this guy should go to the casino after this. Every time he bets on anything, he gets it right compared to whatever Jaedong's trying to anticipate.
The mind games certainly have gone his way, but you know what? Going for pool first is not that big of an upsetting thing for Zerg. His economy is still going to be completely fine. It's not like he's rushing and failing. He's just playing a slightly safer build.
Do you think that we'll see any major differences from Jaedong in this game? Because he is trailing. You know, one game mess up, he's second place again. What do you think, either of you? I mean, what do you think he needs to do different? What is going wrong?
He needs to keep playing like he's playing. He is playing fantastically. He's getting tricked a bit. You know, I think that SOS is actually outthinking him in most of these games. Like, he scouted one gas, right? He saw the Warp Prism come out. That normally only means a mortal Zealot attack, but he didn't counter it.
I would say Jaedong has to go by the notion of doubt everything. Nothing you know is for sure. Scout every corner of the map for anything. Keep scouting. Don't over-drone. Don't get greedy. Because the way SOS is playing, as long as Jaedong spots it and prepares for it, he should win.
And it's funny you say that, because that is usually how Jaedong plays. I mean, look at the games that he's played prior to this, the ones he's beat. He has scouted everything. He has reacted to everything. He has stopped everything. But in this series, it's just not quite the same.
It's wild to see. SOS definitely securing his spot as one of the best protosses in the entire world, if not the best at the moment. But what does he do this game? What does he do in a game where he's gone Nexus first, it's a gigantic map, and it's cross spots, which makes any attacks a lot harder? Also, just to go off that, the way this map is shaped is so weird when you're in cross spots fights. There's so many different ways to get to the same spot. So I'm not entirely sure. I mean, do you think SOS might just turtle up kind of like he did on Akalon? Is that maybe his best bet?
I think so, Tasteless, because even though we look at SOS as a thinker, an intelligent Protoss player, we've seen throughout this tournament, especially in the games he played against Pult, this guy can play toe-to-toe with you if given the opportunity. He doesn't necessarily need to outthink you. He can play fine as well.
And that's what makes him so dangerous. So we'll see if he goes for that. He is grabbing a really quick Stargate here. He has all his geysers. He's getting his +1. This is a very standard, tried and true opener.
It's also possible that SOS is really banking on the next map after this. You know, this is just a tricky map in general for Protoss against Zerg. But yeah, it's a situation where, you know, SOS has got to be so confident. He's got to feel like he's got Jaedong's numbers at this point in time.
Yeah, he can almost use this game as, let me just feel you out a little bit more, Jaedong, because depending on how this goes, he can really, as you described, mold the rest of the series. He can play aggressive cannon rush. He can play normal again, depending on how this goes.
Well, he's adding 3 more gates, still very standard what we're seeing, creating a lot of sentries as well. I think he's just going to be going into a 3rd base, Apollo.
Yeah, it looks like it, doesn't it? Jaedong has scouted the Stargate and +1 attack. I think he just missed the gateways, but overall, Jaedong sees what we see so far, apart from the gateways, but he can assume that they're coming, therefore he can assume that this also should be a 3rd base.
So yeah, so far, I mean, SOS playing a very normal game, which also could kind of go into the crazy mind games he's been playing. Is all right, well now I'm going to do the standard one, then I might go back to doing the wild stuff I've been doing before.
Yeah, play completely standard, the thing that you hit on ladder all the time, and then in the next game go for another cannon rush. I like it.
Let's see if it's going to be effective though, because like we were saying before this series started, I mean, if it's a standard game, that's usually when Jaedong is able to take control. He's able to punish you. He's able to manipulate and bend the game to his will.
Well, there's a couple of zealots here for this pylon and probe, which has gone unscouted, and there's quite a few now. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on who you're rooting for here, this has gone unscouted. This actually could win the tournament. A simple move like this,
yeah.
If Jaedong, for example, was to lose his 3rd base, and he's still only building drones.
Oh, this
okay.
could be so bad.
I'm starting to wonder if Jaedong is now... SOS is play might have just worked. Jaedong now is overthinking stuff. It didn't check for a simple pylon outside of his base.
Has he got no lava?
Nothing.
10 lanes on the way. That's not going to do anything.
This is a disaster. The Zealots are doing so much damage here. They're probably going to be able to take out this hatchery. Drones scattering. Nothing here to defend.
And he's even taking out that Spore Crawler so his Phoenixes can help more. This is a lot of Zealots. Behind it, he's even going Colossus
and
tech.
After all of this series, such a simple move, so simple, so easy to pull off, could be the one thing that pushes SOS to the victory here at BlizzCon.
The Zealots have good surface area here, doing fantastic against these Zerg lanes, and this is a huge blow. +1 attack, unfortunately, finishing just a second too late.
All right, so that's the end of that rush, but I feel like it was pretty effective overall. He killed off a decent amount. He got rid of that Spore, which means these Phoenixes can still reign supreme. But the Hydras are finally out.
Yeah, that was a little bit scary there for Jaedong, but he does survive. 10 drones were lost. The Hydras do push the Phoenixes back for now. As we can see, there are the units lost. A lot of Zerglings, quite a few drones, but overall, for SOS, hardly any losses.
Now the Protoss transitions in a very healthy fashion, getting armor. Colossi just going to get pumped out. The Twilight Council's on the way. I mean, that attack was a success there for SOS. It did the damage he needed to do.
That was, this is a perfect scenario for SOS. When you want to go for Phoenixes into a Colossus in 3rd base, if you do something like kill 10 drones, then all the normal Corruptor timing attacks are not going to end up killing you if you control correctly.
I mean, look at this. The Hydralisks are out, but so is the first Colossus. So it's not like he can hit and slow down SOS with just Hydralisks. He's not going to slow SOS from getting ready for Corruptors as you describe. Jaedong is playing a game from, I'd say, 30 seconds to a minute behind where he'd usually be. He has to really bring something very different if he wants to really get back equal in this game.
That's right. As you say, 30 seconds to a minute behind, plus this is the longest map that we have, which puts him even further behind on any attacks. I don't think that he can do any busts. I think that Jaedong has to go into a very long macro game to win.
You know, Jaedong, we've already seen today that he's so good in that long macro game. I mean, this guy, no matter what size of the map or no matter how the geography of it lays out, he's able to keep control. SOS has shown us, however, that he is able to curl up into a ball and wait it out until it's his time to push out.
Well, that pylon's still alive, actually, and there is a Zealot going to come in. If he actually whoops in a couple more, he could get a cancel on that 4th base, slowing Jaedong even further.
That would be too much.
This pylon that hasn't been spotted here, I mean, this is pretty surprising. I think we can all agree. I mean,
where did those Zealots come from earlier, Jaedong?
I know, kidding, exactly. Like, the Zealots didn't magically appear out of nowhere. They were warped in from what? A pylon. And Jaedong hasn't seemed to check it. And I think what we can glean from that is that Jaedong is not himself right now. SOS's mind games have now gotten into Jaedong's head, and he's not playing at 100%.
Well, you know what? The person playing at 100% certainly is SOS. Everything looks great. Blink finishing, more gateways, Thermal Lance, Colossi, +2 attack. He's even pushing out the map, which is forcing more and more units out of Jaedong, something that he really doesn't want to make.
And well, Jaedong's going to be asked the question, can you defend against this attack? Because if not, then we're going to have a Protoss World Champion. This attack coming now, as you described, Blink, +2 attack isn't too far away. There's a good amount of Colossus, there's Time Warp, there's the force fields here. Jaedong needs to probably flank well, come from behind. He has to deal with this attack, otherwise SOS will be the champion.
And that's the last thing that Jaedong needs at this point in time. I mean, this is the map for Jaedong, by the way. This is the map. Before this entire series started, I was thinking, okay, well, he's probably going to put some. Hold on, he's catching at least Hydras.
All right, not quite as bad as it could have been there. Now, this is a maxed out Zerg army, so SOS still has to be careful. He does hallucinate with single Colossus. Looks like his Phoenix is getting picked off very quickly. We're going to have to see some great force fields here as well.
Oh, and here the fight engages. The Corruptor's trying to bring down the Colossus fast enough. Is this going to be the fight that Jaedong wants? SOS reinforcing with more Stalkers, though.
The Stalkers blink under, and there is not much left on the ground. GG!
SOS is the WCS StarCraft 2 World Champion.
It's been all year, and it cannot be disputed. SOS is your champion!